Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most recent rumors in the NBA, as today it was announced by Bleacher Report that Payton Pritchard, Boston Celtics point guard, has made it clear he hopes to be traded this offseason, which I think Payton Pritchard has kind of made a trade request. Not a huge trade request, although I do think whoever does land Payton Pritchard in a trade is acquiring an amazing player, and I think if Payton Pritchard gets traded, in my opinion, I think, if someone whoever is trading for him, if they have the intent to give him some solid minutes in a rotation, he's going to be a good basketball player. Averaged 5.5 points and 2 assists per game this year with the Celtics, and that was only getting 13 minutes per game. But then in the season finale for the Boston Celtics, which was the last game of the year, Payton Pritchard just completely balled out for the Boston Celtics against the Atlanta Hawks in the last game of the year. Shot 9 for 16 from 3, shooting 56%, 30 points, 11 assists, and 14 rebounds. 14 rebounds for a 6'1" point guard is really good. And so he's a good shooter. He's just a good all-around point guard. But the problem for him with the Boston Celtics is he's not getting minutes at all. I'm going to go over his stats from this season one more time. So this season with the Boston Celtics, 5.6 points per game, 1.5 assists per game, and 2 rebounds per game. But that's only getting 13 minutes per game, and only played in 48 of the 82 games for the Boston Celtics. I think if someone's going to trade for him, he's an expiring contract. If someone's going to trade for him, their intent to bring him in is to be a backup point guard for whoever's bringing him in. Their intent is for Payton Pritchard to be the backup point guard of that roster, which is going to be getting way more than 13 minutes. And way more opportunities to score and do what he's good at. And that's something he really has not gotten the chance to do in Boston. I'm going to get to what Brad Stevens said on the Payton Pritchard situation with the Celtics. He's in the former head coach and also in the front office. I think is he the GM? I think Brad Stevens is the GM. I really feel for a guy like him. He's a really good player. Says he doesn't know how the situation with him will shake out. I don't know what he's worth, and I think it's the only reason his value's probably not that great is because he's a free agent this offseason. I think he could be worth maybe a decent player or two and maybe a couple second-round picks possibly. And that could be good for Boston because even if they keep Pritchard, I don't think Pritchard would re-sign with them the next year, next free agency. So, they could get a decent player, and maybe a couple second round picks back for Pritchard because the Boston Celtics would know he would be doing really well with his new team, but. It's looking like Boston and Payton Pritchard will be parting ways. It's not a huge thing, but it's early in the offseason and stuff like this. Early is really cool to talk about when the NBA Finals are going on and we're talking about a player, hoping to be traded. We'll see what happens. I don't know any places that maybe he could go to. A couple teams were interested in him in the deadline. I think one was the Warriors. Who knows what would happen? Maybe Patrick Baldwin Jr. and a second-round pick to the Boston Celtics for Payton Pritchard. That's just one trade idea. Who knows? But we'll see what happens. You guys have your thoughts, and that's the video. If you guys enjoyed, peace out.